Hi, welcome. If you're new here, I'm Camille with Third Day Singer. Today we're going to be singing chords, and don't get too crazy because we're not singing chords as in multiple pitches all at once. We're singing arpeggios. We're going to sing those pitches individually. There actually are singers out there who can sing more than one pitch at once, but I'm not one of them, and they're pretty rare. But if you want to have your mind blown, you can look up overtone singing or throat singing, um, polyphonic singing, things like that. And you'll see singers actually producing two pitches at once, which is really cool. But we are singing arpeggios. An arpeggio is just the pitches of a chord played or sung independently. So while a chord, typically we think of a chord as three pitches played all at once. It could be a little less or a little more, but here's a chord. And an arpeggio would be this. So exact same pitches, all at once chord, one at a time, arpeggio. And a lot of songs include arpeggios as well, like an Adele song. I think you know which one I'm talking about. I think it's Someone Like You, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, so let me give you a quick overview of what we're going to do today. I already dropped two links in the chat, and there are more links in the video description. But if you were here early, like 15 or more minutes early, then those links might not be there. So you might want to refresh the page so that you can get all of those links in the video description. I've got a virtual piano as always. I'm going to be providing the pitches and giving you the chords, but if you want to follow along with the virtual keyboard, you can. And then there are three other websites, and those are, let me tell you, Piano Keyboard Guide Major Chords, Piano Keyboard Guide Minor Chords, and Piano Keyboard Guide Free Piano Chords. I know that one is confusing, but they have charts for both diminished and augmented chords, which we will get to shortly. Anyways, all of that's in the video description. We're going to start with major chords, though, how to build them, what they sound like. You already know what a major chord sounds like because I just played it. And how we build a major chord. If you were here last week when we were talking about intervals, remember that there's an interval called a major third. From C to E would be an example of that. A major third, you could think of it as two whole steps. So from C to D, and then from D to E. There's our major third, C to E. You could also think of it as four half steps, from C to C sharp to D sharp to E, four half steps. So a major chord has a major third plus a minor third. So this major chord, the pitches are C, E, and G. From E to G, there's our lullaby minor chord. Think of a minor chord either as a step and a half. From E to F sharp would be a step. And then from F sharp to G, there's the half. Or you could think of a minor third as three half steps. E to F sharp to G. So major chord is a major third plus a minor third. So we're going to sing some major chords. We're going to start with C major, and then I'll move us around the piano. I'm going to call out the chord name and then the pitches as well. So we'll go like this. I'll go C major, C, E, G, and then we'll sing. And then I'll give you a new chord, B major, B, D sharp, F sharp, and then you'll sing. Okay, and I'm playing in two octaves. I'm singing in the upper octave, but low voices, you can sing one octave lower and you'll hear it on the piano. So let's start with C major. This is the easiest one to start with because you already know how to sing a major chord. If you've done a vocal warm-up at all in your life, you've sung 50,000 major chords. So C major, C, E, G, sing. Oh, and you don't have to sing the pitch letter names. You could just go da, 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 or 1, 3, 5, whatever you want. All right, B major. B, D sharp, F sharp, sing. B flat major. B flat, D, F, sing. A major. A, C sharp, E, sing. A flat major. A flat, C, E flat, sing. Last one for now, G major. G, B, D, sing. Cool. We're going to stay right where we are. We just played and sang G major. I'm going to now go to minor land. So minor chords, we've also covered a little bit here before. Minor chords have this sad or maybe even scary sound, but let's just call minor chords the sad sounding chord. And how do we build a minor chord? Instead of a major third on the bottom, we have a minor third on the bottom. So G minor, if you open up that other website, it's pianokeyboardguide.com/minor chords. And you can follow along with me. If you scroll down just a little bit, you'll get to this chart. And you can check my work, make sure that I am saying everything correctly. Yeah, so G minor, G, B flat, D. We build a minor chord with a minor third on the bottom and a major third on top. So from G to B flat is a minor third. Listen to the sound of it. Remember our interval song, lullaby and good night. And then a major third on top, B flat to D. Oh, when the saints, or whatever your interval song was. So minor third on the bottom, major third on the top. And when we put it together, it sounds like this. If we were to sing the arpeggio, it sounds like da, da, da. Okay, so starting at G minor, I'll then move us up. So we'll go to A flat minor, and so on. G minor, G, B flat, D, sing. A flat minor, A flat, B, E flat, sing. A minor, A, C, E, sing. B flat minor, B flat, D flat, F, sing. B minor, B, D, F sharp. C minor, C, E flat, G, sing. Two more, C sharp minor, C sharp, E, G sharp. Last one, D minor, D, F, A, sing. So if we want to go from a major chord to a minor chord, we flat or lower the third. So what we just did, we sang D minor. How I make that chord major is by raising up the middle note, or what we call the third. So instead of F natural, make it F sharp, and we have our major chord. So major, flat the third or lower the third by a half step, and you get minor. Okay, on to the, I don't want to say more interesting, but rarer chords that maybe you haven't heard before. The first, since we just were singing some minor chords, I'm going to introduce you to a diminished chord that sounds like this. Ho, ho, ho. Nosteron is asking, isn't it major when the white keys are played only? No. So white keys or black keys, what matters making something major versus minor is the intervals. So I could play all white keys, a major chord, sure. That's C, E, G. But I could also play D, F, A, all white keys, and I have a minor chord there. Do, do, do. So, diminished chords. How we build a diminished chord, and here's the sound of it again. It sounds kind of scary. So that's why I suggested before minor chords, let's call the sad chord. Diminished chord, let's call the scary chord. Because listen to minor versus diminished. Okay, we build a diminished chord with a minor third plus another minor third. So D diminished, open up that third website. It's the free piano chords one. Let me drop it in the chat just in case you don't have it. Let's see. Is it first or second? Okay, good. So diminished is up first. And again, you can scroll down to visualize what it looks like playing those chords on the piano. So we're starting at D diminished. Take a look with me. D, F, A flat. Okay, so we go from a minor chord, D, F, A, to diminished by flatting or lowering the fifth, or that top note. So instead of D, F, A, D, F, A flat. Again, it's a minor third plus another minor third. D to F is a minor third. Listen. Lullaby. And then F to A flat, another minor third. Lullaby and good night. Okay, so this will be a little bit trickier to sing. We're not used to singing diminished chords, to be honest. I've never done a vocal exercise or vocal warm-up that had diminished chords in it, so this is something new for everybody. Starting with D diminished, I'll call out the chord and I'll call out the pitches to sing, and then you'll sing with me. And we'll move down this time. So D, then C sharp, then C, and so on. And just letting you know, you'll have to go to the bottom of the chart when we go from C to B. All right, D diminished. D, F, A flat, sing. C sharp diminished. It's so weird to sing. C sharp, E, G, sing. C diminished. C, E flat, G flat, sing. B diminished. This is going to be our only chord where we play all white keys and it's a diminished chord. B, D, F. B, D, F, sing. Let's do two more. Do we call this B flat diminished? Yeah. B flat, D flat, F. B flat, D flat, F flat. Okay, I have to explain that. B flat, D flat, F flat. F flat? There is no key on the keyboard called F flat. That key is E. And we call it F flat because we're in the key of B flat. I guess it wouldn't make sense to say B flat, D flat, E. We don't need to get too deep into the weeds with that, but I'm just pointing out, and let's see, it does come up again. So F flat is E. F minus 1/2 step or 1/2 step lower is E because we don't have a black key between F and E on the piano. And then if you look up to F diminished, you see F, A flat, C flat. Same deal. C flat is B. Because again, there's no black key between C and B. So it's kind of confusing. I'm just pointing that out. Okay, B flat diminished. These are our last two diminished chords. B flat, D flat, F flat, which is E, sing. Last one, A diminished. A, C, E flat, sing. Okay, I hope I didn't confuse you too terribly about all of that flat stuff. And let's see, behind the curve is saying, so you flat the third and the fifth. Correct. If you were taking a major chord and making it diminished, you would flat the third and the fifth. Correct. And Sheila's asking, can you create a melody with chord progressions, and how will you know what follows what? That's a great question. Um, yeah, Nick, this is tricky, and it's okay if you're not following the pitches and the music theories going over your head. Just sing what's being played, and you'll be fine. So Sheila, uh, I think the answer to your question is you know what follows what. Oof. Let me ask you a question, Sheila. When you say how will you know what follows what, are you talking about what chord follows what chord or what the melody should do? So let me know what your question is. If you're asking what chord comes next in a progression or what should the melody be doing? Okay, last kind of chord is an augmented chord. And I'm going to play it. I'm going to play an A augmented chord. Again, it sounds nuts. I'm going to play it as an arpeggio. So we can call this the mysterious chord because there's an air of intrigue about it. Let me know though in the comments what emotion comes to mind, what feeling, what mood when you hear this augmented chord. It's called augmented. What do you think? I'm curious. I think it sounds mysterious, like something's about to happen, maybe. But what do you think? Mysterious. The reason I'm asking for a mood or an emotion is it'll be much easier for you to identify the quality of the chord if you have, yeah, Kateri is saying detective style. Like, ooh, yeah, I like that. Cautious, yeah. Something's about to happen. Okay, so if you can attach an emotion to the sound of that chord, it's going to be a lot easier to identify. If I play this and you're like, "Ooh, there's that mysterious or detective sound," you'll know that's probably an augmented chord. How do we build an augmented chord? We have a major third plus another major third. And this blew my mind when I learned this because I was like, that does not sound like a major chord at all. It's amazing what raising the fifth does. So, starting with A augmented, A to C sharp is my first major third. Remember our interval songs? Oh, when the saints. But then I have another major third on top of it. From C sharp to E sharp. And Aquila is saying like adrenaline. I like it. So, looking at our, okay, Sheila, got it. We'll get back to you in a little bit. Scroll down the page underneath diminished. You'll see augmented. We're starting with A augmented. A, C sharp, E sharp. Again, I'm going to call out the name of the chord and the pitches, and I'll have you sing. And we're noticing some weird things. E sharp. What the heck is an E sharp? It's the F key on the keyboard. Anyways, A augmented. Get ready to sing. A, C sharp, E sharp. Sing. Very good. B flat augmented. So nuts. B flat, D, F sharp. Try it. Oh, and this is just absolutely bananas. B augmented is B, D sharp, F double sharp. What's an F double sharp? It's a G. I know this music theory stuff is so confusing, and again, if it is going over your head, I'm expecting that it's going over most people's heads, and unless you have a background in music theory or went to school for this, because this just makes no sense. F double sharp, that's bananas. What's more important is that you're getting used to the sound of an augmented chord and that you're singing it. So I'm giving you the pitches because they exist, but don't worry about it. There's our B augmented. I didn't give you a chance to sing it yet. B, D sharp, F double sharp. Sing it. Couple more. C augmented. So fun. C, E, G sharp. Sing. C sharp augmented. And let's see how we spell it. Yeah. C sharp, E sharp, G double sharp. Last one of this torture. D augmented. D, F sharp, A sharp. Sing. All right. We have talked a lot about thirds, like a major third plus a minor third plus a minor third. We have not yet talked about fifths. And these chords, they get their name, or they share their name with the type of fifth in the chord. So come back with me to major land. It's going to feel great to get back to major land. C major. Ah, so nice. We have the major third and the minor third. Remember that? From C to G, or my bottom note to my top note, I have a perfect fifth. Da, 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 da. Okay? In the minor chord, C, E flat, G, I still have a perfect fifth. Da, da, C and G. Those pitches haven't changed. Only that middle note changed. Now when we enter diminished territory, C, E flat, G flat, from C to G flat, da, da, that is what we call a diminished fifth. So it has a diminished fifth. It is a diminished chord. That's also, if you were here last week, it's a tritone. Do you remember that? That crazy, the devil's interval? Okay, and then by the same token, if we go to C augmented, C, E, G sharp, from C to G sharp is an augmented fifth. An augmented chord has an augmented fifth. So just throwing that out there, that's that. Nick is going nuts trying to remember the terms. Nick, it's fine. Don't worry about the terms. If all you get from today is the feeling and sound of a major chord, a minor chord, a diminished chord, and an augmented chord, I'm happy with that. If you don't remember how to build them and you don't remember any of this double sharp blah de blah, that's totally fine. Okay, it's quiz time. I'm going to play a chord. I'm going to make it easy on you first. I'm going to play either a major chord or a minor chord. And you guess, is it major or minor? And then we'll add on. Okay, this should be easy. Major or minor? Feel free to chime in the comments. And remember, we're thinking of those emotions. Is this happy major, sad minor, scary diminished, or mysterious augmented? We've got 3 majors. Beautiful job, folks. How about this one? It's either major or minor. Happy or sad? Lakshita guessed minor. I'm going to play the arpeggio. Does the arpeggio help? Ooh, we've got quite a mix here. Here's why it's major. This is A flat, C, E flat. Here's what minor would sound like. Not minor. I was playing a major chord. So, the reason I think some of you thought it was minor is because I moved to a lower key. I started you in the key of C with this happy major chord. And then I went down to another major chord. It's still major, but the fact that it was lower pitch, I think tricked some of your ears into thinking it was minor or sad. So don't let the pitch trick you. I could play all around the keyboard, but we're listening to the quality of the chord, the emotion or the mood that it evokes. Another try. These ones, only major or minor? Let me know. This is a new chord. Minor, minor, we've got 2 correct. Lakshita, it's okay. I know it's confusing. It's tough. Hey, Bob, it's been a while. Yes. People asking minor, that's a minor chord. It's B minor if you're interested. B, D, F sharp. And behind the curve, I tend to agree with you as well. All right, new chord. Don't let the pitch confuse you. Is this major or minor? More happy or more sad? Okay, I've got 1 guess for major, 2 guesses for minor. This is minor. That's F minor. Again, I think that some folks are confused because now it's higher pitch and we kind of associate higher pitches with happier sounds. It is a sad minor chord. What I recommend if you have gotten a few of these wrong, and by the way, it's totally fine. This is new stuff that you're dealing with. Don't beat yourself up, please. Don't, because this is tough. If you are getting confused, try to sing the chord. So I'm playing the chord, but I'm also playing the arpeggio. Do, do, do. So you can sing and you can remember what it felt like to sing that minor chord versus do, 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 major. Okay, so please sing along. See if that helps you to internalize what kind of chord this is. I'm going to keep going. Major or minor? got 2 majors. Correct. This is E major. The majors are pouring in. Good job, guys. New one. Again, don't be confused by the pitch. I'm going to move around somewhere else on the keyboard. Listen to the quality, the emotion. Don't let the pitch trick you, and I know it's really hard. Major or minor? Good job. Bop and Lakshita, you are correct. Nick, this is still a major chord. I tricked you. I tricked you by moving low on the keyboard. Try to sing it though. Ba, ba, ba. By the way, a major chord. Oh, and by the way, behind the curve is putting a big M for major, small m for minor. That's also how you can denote major versus minor. See, not so bad. Some of you are still getting confused with the pitch, lower pitches kind of sounding sadder, having like a darker quality to them. So again, try to sing it. Da, da, da. And what I was about to say before I interrupted myself is a major chord. If you have in your head kumbaya, kumbaya, my lord, or Obladi Oblada by the Beatles, Obladi Oblada, that's also a major chord. So if you can sing that song, that can also be your double check. Okay, nice work. I'm going to now, I'm trying to make it as easy on you as possible. I'm going to play a major chord versus an augmented chord. Again, I think this should be easy, but we'll see. And Katery is saying it's way easier to think of it as an arpeggio than a chord. So whatever helps you, either hearing that chord or singing the arpeggio, do what you must. This is a major chord or an augmented chord. Let me remind you what those sound like. Major happy, augmented mysterious. Okay, here goes. What's this? I played one wrong note, sorry. Here it is again. Major or augmented. And you can just, for this, put M or A. It's augmented. Good job. How about this? Lakshita's got the first correct answer for this one. This is a major chord. Good job, everyone. Exactly. I'm not going to spend more time on this because this is just very obvious, augmented versus major. This will be a little bit trickier. Minor versus diminished. Maybe it's a piece of cake. We'll see. Minor sounds like. Diminished sounds like. Those are more similar in quality. I'm going to take a drink of water. Minor, sad. Diminished, scary. That's how I'm thinking of them. But again, if you have a different emotion that comes to mind instantly, use that emotion. Use what works for you. Here's a kind of chord. Tell me if it's minor or diminished. And again, you could put small m or D just for shorthand if you want. We've got a mix here. I've got 2 minors and 2 diminished. Someone's got to break. Oh, wow. Wow. Okay. Nosteron changed their mind and broke the tie. This is a diminished chord. This is A diminished, A, C, E flat. And I'm trying to think, da, da, da. I'm trying to think of a song that has that. If someone can think of one, I would be so grateful for you. I'm also trying to think of a minor. Da, da, da. Bum, bum, bum. Can anyone think of a song that has that in order? Da, 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 da. I'm sure there are a million songs that do, but I just can't think of one. The reason I'm asking for this is if we can think of a song that outlines either a diminished or a minor chord, it might help us. Hotel Transylvania soundtrack? Sure. Burgundy Burger? Maybe. I don't know what that is, but we can look it up. And if yeah, you could drop a link here as well, and we could listen. Here's another thing that you might want to try is paying attention to the fifth. So remember that a minor chord, ba 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 ba. Ooh, Moonlight Sonata, that's a good one. Da 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 dun da dun. Yeah, that's a good one. Okay. You could think about the fifth. Da da. Does it feel like a ba ba perfect fifth? Or is it da da tritone? So that's another way maybe you can narrow it down. Lakshita, you can leave your question. We're going to keep going with this quiz for a little bit. Tell me, major or minor? No. Minor or diminished. Sorry. Does it sound like Moonlight Sonata or does it not? Minor or diminished? I've got 2 minors. Both are correct. That's a B flat minor chord. Good job. How about this one? I've got 3 minors, 2 guesses for diminished. The minor people are correct. Bye, Lakshita. I'll answer your question in a little bit. This is a minor chord. Sing it with me. Da 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 da. That's minor. Notice it does not have that funky tritone. Da da. That's a nice basic perfect fifth. If it was diminished, da da da, it would have that weird feeling. Ba 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 versus ba ba, which feels nice and solid. Couple more. Minor or diminished? I know it's hard. Oh, nice. We've got 3 guesses for diminished and they're all correct. Good job. So this is diminished. Bob, try to sing this. Da, da, da. Then try to sing just the first and the fifth. Da, da. And notice how weird that feels. It doesn't feel good like a perfect fifth. Da, da. Da, da, da. Okay. Final challenge, I think. Yeah, it definitely feels suspenseful. I think with our last couple minutes before Q&A, and we have a couple things to talk about, Sheila and Lakshita already have questions in. So now I'm gonna play any kind of chord, major, minor, diminished, or augmented. And this was a lot to cover in 40 minutes. So you guys are champions. Major, minor, diminished, or augmented. And I'm gonna put our little answer key. Major, happy. Minor, sad. Diminished, scary. And augmented. Suspenseful / mysterious. All right. It's the final countdown. I've got a major, I've got an augmented. Someone break the tie. Okay, I've got 2 majors. The majors win. 3 majors. This is a major chord. This is A major, A, C sharp, E. We know it's major. We can sing Kumbaya or Obladi. Okay, next one. I've got 1 guess for minor. 2 guesses, 3 guesses. Nice job, guys. This is minor. It's A minor. Good, good. How about this? You might want to sing this one. This is tough. Ba, ba, ba. I'll play it in a higher octave too, if you have a higher voice. Bop and Cateri are correct. This is augmented and Nosteron. By the way, it's so common to confuse augmented and diminished because they both sound weird. But that is augmented. That has that, ooh yeah, detective. How about this? Let's see, right here. I've got 1 minor. Nostron is very quick. Nostron would be good at Jeopardy. Minor. You guys got it. That's a minor chord. How about this one? Good job, guys. That last one was minor. What is this one? Nick guesses diminished. Oh, Nick, you were correct. Good job. This was diminished. Da, da, da. All right. Good job, everyone. That was so much to cover. So there are different kinds of chords, but these are the four basic types of chords. So we could have additions to these chords. For example, we could have a seventh chord, which we'll cover one day. Can have chords like this or like this. But major, minor, diminished, and augmented, those are our four basic types of chords. And again, training your ear to recognize diminished and augmented is very, very tricky. They're just less common. And you know what would be really interesting, maybe for next time? It is Q&A time, so go ahead and get those questions in. What would be interesting for next time is getting some song examples with diminished and augmented chords so that you can hear them in context. I don't know off the top of my head, but that would be a really cool homework assignment, and I'm sure that Google would tell you, like, popular songs with diminished chord in it, something like that. Okay, so first question I'm gonna give to Lakshita, even though she had to leave early. Lakshita asked, I have a piano and I don't use it much, and I use my guitar more. I'm a beginner too. Can you tell me what I should learn on the piano? So, for anyone who's a singer, the first thing I think that you should learn on piano is chords. So, this was actually a really good introduction to that. Um, any book that you get, any app or video that you watch, um, you should look for ones that focus on chords so that you can read chord charts. As a singer who's just playing piano to support your singing, you don't really need crazy accompaniment skills. Of course, if that's something that you want to do, you can. But all you need to be able to do is read a chord chart that says C, and you know how to play a C chord, G, and you know how to play that, A minor, you know how to play that, and F. That's all you need. You don't need to go crazy. So that's, I think, the most useful thing. Um, I'm going to scroll up because Sheila had a question similar, but it was about writing songs. And Kateri was also asking, I'd love if you can teach us someday about creating melodies, improvisation in the same scale, and more about getting awesome on melismas. Yeah, so those seem like great topics for future live lessons, especially creating melodies and songwriting. As for melismas, riffs and runs, all that good stuff, I actually do have a live lesson coming up on agility for riffs and runs. It's either next week or the following, but it's definitely on the calendar soon. So if you go to the channels page, it already has those lessons posted. So you can put it on your calendar and you can be notified about that. Sheila was asking, though, okay, Sheila was asking, yes, both the chord and the melody, if that's possible. So we are talking right now about um, writing songs, and I would say that most people, either they're starting with a melody or they're starting with the chords. Um, so you could start writing by just getting chord progressions online. So I'm going to look up right now popular chord progressions. And I'll also get for you a resource list because a long time ago, we did a live lesson on songwriting, and we'll do one again. But I put together this resource list for the students who attended that lesson. There it is in the chat, and within there, there's chord progressions. You'll see there's apps that can give you chord progressions. There's randomized progression generators. So I would recommend that you start there. Once you get a chord progression, like let's say that super simple progression I just played, C, G, A minor, F. Basically, writing a melody on top of that, you're going to be relying on your ear to tell you, does this sound good with the chord or does it kind of clash? So, for example, da 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 da, that sounds good. What if I go da 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 da? Not quite as good. Da 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 da. Any of that sounds fine. Moving to the next chord. Da 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 da. Of course, I'm just kind of going line by line, but that is how you could write, is improving a little bit, playing around, seeing what sounds good to your ear and what doesn't clash with the chord, and then start to put something together. I personally write with a melody first, and then I find chords to support that melody. So I would say people typically write one of two ways. They either start with a chord progression or they start with a melody and then they bring in the chords later to support that. Um, but I would say for most writers, beginning or not, you're just being led by your ear. Does it clash or does it go? Um, and then there are other considerations too. I'm helping a student right now writing, and we're talking about, not getting stuck in a box, because it's very easy to just do the same thing over and over. Once you kind of get one line that you like, then you just keep repeating it and you can't think of anything new. So anyways, more to be said on that, but essentially that's a start, and that list as well. Um, okay. I woo. Oh, Layla's asking, so we all know what falsetto is, but my question is, what is flageolet? Layla, I have a lesson for you on that. Um, Let me grab it for you. To be honest, I never really thought that the difference between falsetto and flageolet, which is just above falsetto, even higher, even lighter, I never really thought that the difference between those two were important to even think about. But there's a lesson on it for you, so you can check that out. Um, Burgundy Burger. So what is augmented? Augmented is a major third and another major third. So for example, C, E, G sharp. And you can go back to earlier in the lesson, if you would like. Cateri, any tips for tips for creating melodies, improvisation, and then tips for melismas? I actually do have a really good article that I wrote on how to practice riffs and runs. So let me grab that article for you. Um, um, yeah, and then, gosh, improvisation. Um, I would love to talk more about improvisation because I think it's important. One thing that I do with my students is I'll just force them to choose something new, to make a different choice. So, for example, if we're singing a song and they know the song really well, I'll force them. I'll say, "Okay, don't sing it like you've been singing it. Do something different." I don't care if it's just one note is different or you hold one note for longer. Sometimes I think that's a really good place to start. Another way that you can start to work on improvisation is listen to a karaoke track and challenge yourself to sing something other than the song. So let's say we're listening to this, you know, instead of singing whatever song goes along with that, ooh, you're just singing whatever fits. Ooh, ooh. And the reason I'm saying use a karaoke track or a familiar song is you're familiar already with the chord progression, so it'll be a little bit easier for you to anticipate what's happening next. But again, you're challenging yourself to just do something different than what the melody is. And I know that's scary, and we can talk about it more later on a lesson just focused on improvisation. I think that would be a great idea. Um, Nostron is saying, can we change the time around? um, so Nostron, I am now going back and forth between late afternoon for me and morning for me, to catch more people around the globe. So let me tell you what I have on the calendar for next week. For next week, Tuesday, the 31st of August at 10 a.m. Pacific time. So that might be a little bit better for you. Um, Behind the Curve is saying, scale degrees are jamming me up. Any tips? Behind the Curve, I need I need more I need more information because I am confused about the question. So help me out. Um, Caddy is saying, do you have exercises or videos to train the ear to know if the melody sounds good with the chord or clashes? Caddy, I don't have many here. I actually do have videos on TikTok about ear training and doing a lot of this kind of chords, singing the individual pitches of the chord. So yeah, not on YouTube yet, but if you follow me on TikTok, it's Camille Van Niekerk Music, and I have a handful of ear training videos on there. Um, Layla, can you say some tips for singing with more power? Yes, Layla, I can actually do you one better. I believe I did a live lesson on that very topic. So let me find it for you. Um, Hopefully it'll be easy to find. Hmm. Hmm. Ooh, I just can't remember what it was called. Maybe how to strengthen your voice. There we go. Great. So this was 3 months ago. There you go. You're so welcome, Caddy. Thank you. Um, Behind the Curve. Scale degrees are jamming me up. Any tips? I still need help understanding that question. I'm so sorry. Sheila, thank you. I appreciate it. And I just have to let you know, it wasn't until I was in college, so had been singing for many, many years. I started singing, when I started speaking, basically. No one ever asked me to improvise or forced me to improvise until I was in college, and my jazz teacher was like, "All right, scat." And I was like, "What?" Um, and so it's very scary, to start and you just have no idea what you're doing. You gotta be okay with hitting a sour note every now and then. It's going to happen. So that's that. It's gonna be scary whenever you start. Nick, I'm fairly solid with breath control when singing standing, but when sitting down, it can sometimes be tricky. Any tips with how you can control this? Hope it makes sense. Yes, it does make sense. So, Nick, I would say your posture is number one. If you are sitting on the edge of your seat, so you're not chilling back in the chair, but you're on the edge of the seat, and your spine straight and your chest is lifted, um, that is that's the best that we can do. To be honest, I never feel as strong sitting down than when I'm standing. So if I know that I have challenging singing to do, I'm standing up. I don't know of a way to have like the maximum amount of support when needed. Um, but that's the best that we can do is sit on the edge of your chair, tall posture, chest up, so that your breathing is not compromised in any way. Thank you, Layla. I really appreciate that. You guys are great. And Grace, any tips on teaching harmonies, especially choir? Yeah. So really quick, Grace, I would say It's it's easy for people, or it's relatively easy for people to latch on to harmonies in songs that already have harmonies. So songs like Need You Now, songs like Say Something by Great Big World and Christina Aguilera, um, since they've heard those songs and since the harmony is in there already and really strong, that can be, uh, easier than just creating harmonies out of thin air. So I would say, encourage your choir students, maybe get a playlist of songs where there's two really distinct voices, and encourage them to listen to one of those two voices. So the person who is not singing the melody, um, and then other than that, I think always make sure that you are playing the harmonies part on the piano to provide support. So if, part of the choir is singing melody, you're playing harmony loudly on the piano. Okay, I've got to let you guys go, but I will see you next week. Looking forward to it. Thank you for being here. Bye.